Hi, my name's Aaron and I'm with Fleetistics. And today we're going to be talking about DIY GPS tracking. And what does that really mean? Every now and then we have a customer or a company that comes to us and asks us about creating their own GPS tracking system. And the idea really is about saving money and looking for customizations that they want very specific. And what I'm going to talk about today is really what are the pros and cons of being able to do it that way? What are the things that you need to know before you go down that road? And really, at the end, what is the practical answer to whether or not that would be something that you would want to do? So let's kind of dive into this whole concept. And just for the record, we have a customer that absolutely has done something of this nature. And in 26 years, we only have one customer that has done something of this nature. So that may be the clue that you need right there. But if you are a high-tech company and you've got a lot of developers and this is something that you're thinking, for some reason you need very specifically, then you may want to continue to listen and see what's involved before you actually go down that road. So let's get started. I'll say right out of the gate, it's a fairly complex project, right? Especially if you have no experience in this. There are specialties within this whole framework, such as mapping. Mapping is its own animal. There are developers out there that do nothing but mapping, and understanding mapping and the server requirements or the service requirements for mapping and getting maps to do the things that you want them to do can be complicated. And if you get into GIS mapping, is map layers and things of that nature, then it will take even more. And when you think about this whole project, think about really how much time you want to budget. This is not something that is going to get done in a month or two, right? This is a complicated solution. Setting up the environment correctly is extremely important. Considering things like roles and access rights and security and all of those things go into the architecture planning phase. And that in and of itself is a quite complex requirement. And you're going to need very senior people that can manage that for you, especially if you work with any kind of sensitive data. So that's the upfront piece. And then you've got the ongoing maintenance piece because nothing ever, lasts forever. As we know, there's updates to components along the way. And those components require those updates, and somebody's got to go in there and do that. Somebody has to be monitoring everything. They've got to monitor the database. They've got to monitor the services, make sure that they're up and running and the updates are being applied. And we all know that sometimes updates get applied and things break, right? And if you are operationally dependent on a GPS tracking and telematics platform and you are running your own, guess what? You've got to solve those problems. So you have to have the knowledge and the manpower to stay on top of those things. So just add that to the expense column and let's keep moving. So what are the major components to a do-it-yourself GPS tracking system or platform? If you were going to create it from scratch, right, and you wanted it to look like the platforms that we provide our customers, what's it going to take? And I'm not a developer, so I'm going to give you some high level generalities, and you just have to kind of take that information and run with it. First of all, you need mapping, right? You need a mapping server to host your own map data sets, but more likely you're going to go out and you're going to get a mapping service. And I think you'll be surprised at what mapping costs based on usage, based on assets, things of that nature. And you can just move that into the monthly expense column and go from there. I would say if you don't have a fleet that is big enough, this is really something that you won't even begin to tackle, even if you have some software developers, right? You've got to have an economy of scale that's going to offset your upfront investment. And so you get a return on investment down the road. So keep that in mind. Next is you need a database, right? What type of database? What's good for that type of transactional activity? What type of information are you going to be getting from the GPS devices? How fast? How much? And how are you going to process that information to make sure that the delivery of the data that's being collected is operationally sufficient for the people that are going to be using the system? And you have to look at not only what are they looking at perhaps in near real time, but also what kind of reports need to be run, dashboards, scheduled reports, and things of that nature. And how do you set those up? How do you create those? And how much system draw is going to be put on things or put on the system from those things being utilized. So architecture planning again. Next is you're going to need a website. You got to go someplace to log in. So now you need the website and web hosting capabilities, and you need to be able to connect your database to the website, which is typically a different skill set than a database. So think about that. So now we've talked about mapping databases and websites. There's three different skill sets right there. Next is wireless communication, getting information from the cell carrier. So you're going to have to go out and get a SIM card, which means you're going to have to establish a relationship with a carrier. And if you're not a probable reseller, then they are not going to give you the best prices, right? So you may get discounts because you have 500 or 5,000 vehicles, but you're not going to get, wholesale pricing. It's just the nature of every industry, right? But you have to have SIM cards. And then you've got to have the right types of SIM cards. And then you've got to go out and you've got to get a GPS device. There are lots of GPS manufacturers out there. You can buy GPS devices all day long. A lot of them are overseas. The challenge with that is customer service and support, right? If you need help programming a GPS device, because you have to program the devices, you don't just get it and plug it in. If you get a GPS device from us and you walk out and you plug it in, it's because all these things have already been done for you and you don't have to worry about it, right? So a GPS tracker needs to be programmed with an IP address and it needs to be configured to function the way that you want it to function. And that might be a logging rate, it might be DTC codes, it might be how long it stays active after the ignition is turned off. Whatever those crazy things are, somebody has to learn how to program the GPS devices. And as a word of caution, make sure that you get the correct bandwidth because certain bandwidths work in different countries, and not every one of them is going to work on American cell networks. So don't go out and buy the cheapest one thinking, oh, I got a great deal, only to find out it's 2G, because 2G still works in other parts of the world. It's just never going to work in America, right? So you would be at a great disadvantage and have wasted a lot of money because honestly, the Chinese don't give returns or discounts or refunds. It's buyer beware if you go overseas, especially to China. Great pricing to start with, but there's things that you need to put into the expense column as the cost of doing business when you work with an overseas supplier. And then after you got the device, you've got the SIM card in it, and it's on the right bandwidth and it's programmed correctly, then you have to have software that will receive the information from the GPS device, a software or a service, right, that runs to receive that data that's coming to that IP address. It has to recognize the device. It has to understand what the data is that it's receiving, and then it has to put it into a database. And you would think, oh, well, it's giving me GPS coordinates. That's plain and simple. Maybe it's giving me a plain language device name or something. No, it's not that simple. In the device world, everything runs on IMEIs, and I have seen where you get what looks like a VIN code, a long code that represents a bunch of other information, and you have to decode that. And that in and of itself took my senior developers 30 days. And then you've got to be able to parse that information into a database. So if you're doing it from scratch, 30 days. If you're buying a service, maybe it works out of the box and you've got to set the service up and then test and learn how to keep it running. So those are the major components. And, probably by now you're scratching your head thinking, oh my God, is this really something that I want to do? If you're a techie, you may be looking at it and say, okay, well, I get everything that he's saying. I understand the points. There's more to this that is not being said that you would learn along the way. But let's talk about real quickly some of the pros and cons to these things. So the pro is really what you could potentially save in monthly recurring fees, right? And I think the ROI on this type of investment for anything less than like 1,000 vehicles is so far down the road, it would be hard to justify that investment. Just being pretty straightforward about that. The other pro is that you get a fully customized solution. You can build it absolutely exactly how you want it, and any change that you want in the future, you get to make, right? So total control, right? And if you have a very niche business, then maybe that's an ideal way of doing things. I'm not here to decide that for you. I'm just trying to give you some things to think about. And some of the cons, right? So like I said, your ROI is way down the road. You've got a lot of developer investment. You've got a lot of learning that you're paying payroll for. You've got a lot of these components that have to go out and be purchased, like, a cloud server or servers, and set up the mapping and the databases and all that stuff. So you've got all this upfront investment, which means that if you're going to save, let's say, $10 a month, maybe if you're lucky, then you are 10 times 1,000, you're saving $10,000 a month, right? Developers aren't cheap, learning and everything else, plus the ongoing maintenance of having to have these guys available to solve problems is a big con, right? You can't just set it up and let it go, right? You have to have somebody that's monitoring the database, which is not the same guy that may be responsible for the website, which may not be the same guy that's watching the mapping and the carrier relationships and things of that nature. So you have ongoing payroll costs just to keep the system running. When you look at your ROI, your $10,000 a month savings, that starts to dwindle pretty quickly as you start to look at these payroll units and the overhead that goes along with it. Next is the high risk that it won't work. I mean, you could go down this path and spend $250,000 pretty quick, and you get down there and it's like, geez, this is harder than I thought, and it's really not going to work, right? Or it's not going to be what I really need it to be. Then your choice is spend another $250,000, scrap $250,000 investment and go out and buy a telematics platform from us. The other thing is you don't have the engineering expertise. I mean, the telematics industry has been around now for about 25 years. We basically got started when it first, was introduced. And during that time frame, there's been a lot of engineers that have been involved, not only in the automotive engineering, the software engineering, all of the components that are out there to build telematics companies. And you don't have those inherent in your business. So you'd have to compensate, right? Next is there's no support. I mentioned there's no support from the GPS suppliers, but if something goes wrong with the web server, depending on who you get it from, if you're hosting your own mapping, like we host some of our own mapping, and we also have mapping services depending on different variables. But if you're doing that on your own, you're responsible for it, and you get no support. So if you buy something from somebody and something goes wrong, then obviously they go fix it. It's the whole concept of going into the cloud, right? You don't want to maintain your server, so you move to the cloud and you pass that responsibility off to somebody else, which is, the obvious trend of what's going on today. And then the last thing I'll say is that you're subject to key personnel leaving. You could have these key engineers in these key roles, and people that can do this type of work are smart, and they get opportunities, and when they get bored, they want to go do something else. So you run the risk of losing that knowledge that you paid so much to get to keep your system up and running. So all of that being said, is it viable? Yeah, you can do it. Is it practical? Not in most cases. I would say 99 out of 100 companies shouldn't even think about going that direction. But if you're that 1%, what makes sense is to do what other companies have done, or one other company has done with us, which is we'll provide you with the GPS device. We'll program it for you. We'll put the SIM card in it, and then you give us an IP address, and we'll send you the data. We'll manage the parsing of the information, keeping that whole side of the equation running in your direction, and we'll push you that information. If anything goes wrong, we take care of it this direction. If anything goes wrong after it's delivered to you, it's on you guys. But that allows you to focus on things that are a lot more probably known in your business if you do development. So if you've got any feedback, I'd love to hear it. Give us some comments below. Talk about your experience if you try to go down that path. If you see some reasons that it is a good idea, and I didn't mention something, put a comment below. If you're interested in, fleet management technology, just like and subscribe, and we'll keep pushing out the videos. Thank you.